Good morning, Franklin Township. This is Bill Bowman, PJ Parker from Franklin, reporter advocate. I'm being told that my audio is terrible. So PJ, you take over.
Oh my goodness. Franklin, this has just been a really dynamic effort. This is PJ Parker, Franklin reporter and advocate, and I am joined happily, although not vocally, by Bill Bowman, editor of the Franklin Reporter and Advocate, and Ed Potosnak, who is not only the deputy mayor of Franklin Township, but he is a delegate at tonight's Democratic National Convention. And you're a delegate to District Number 10, from what I understand.
That's correct.
And how did you get to do this, being the delegate for District 10? What happened? How come Ed Potosnak got this honor?
Well, it's a pretty intense process, actually. You have to put in an application, and then it goes through a vetting process through the campaign. And then from there, they select folks. You got to gather signatures of your neighbors, fellow Democrats. You get put on the ballot, and you actually get voted in along with President Biden at the time and Vice President Kamala Harris. And
Wow.
So I was actually on the ballot for the primary with them to be a delegate. And then obviously with the president dropping out, that responsibility became even more important. And that's what we're here to work through the details of over this next few days.
And what exactly are your responsibilities as a delegate here?
Well, so one of the things we do is we vote as a delegate for who's going to be the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. This convention is about selecting a candidate. And back in the day, no one knew how the outcome was going to come. It was, not done in the way it was where states are weighing in. They would weigh in on the delegates, and the delegates would then decide based on speeches and all kinds of politicking at the convention itself. Obviously, with time, that formality has dropped and passed to the states. And along with, I was a pledge delegate for President Biden. That kept me bound to him until he released us when he exited the race. And, we actually took a vote to make sure that Kamala Harris could be on the ballot in Ohio just a few weeks ago.
So
it was a digital electronic.
Oh, okay. Theoretically, she has pretty much clinched all the delegates that she needs in order to move forward. So
Yes.
Is this a formality of what's going on now at the convention, or there's still the process that is going on?
I believe it's a formality at this point because we all voted online. We had to sign our sheets for our electronic vote, and they did an electronic roll call where they went through each state. So she secured the delegates. This is probably more of a pro forma convention, but I'm telling you, it's electric. It's exciting. There's a new energy, the kind of energy our nation needs to propel us into the future, a future of hope for our kids and grandkids, one with cleaner environment. As you know, that's a really important issue for me. But more freedom to, choose who we love, to have decisions between your doctor and yourself around your health care, particularly reproductive freedom for women, but it's an issue for all of us. And the list goes on, where we get the government out of the choices that we're making. What books you read, that's really up to you and your family. Moving away from banning books and government control and censorship. And it's in a positive way. I'm really inspired by the energy. I'm inspired by the Democratic family. That's all turning out. Not one, single person is staying away from this convention. They're all here showing their support for Kamala and Tim Walz to be our next president and vice president.
Wow. It just, the energy and the excitement was so contagious. Yeah. You could feel it. Through the airwaves, you could feel the excitement. I haven't felt that kind of energy since Obama. And
it's pretty special.
Oh my goodness, I remember that so clearly, thinking the nation finally has an opportunity to heal. And I think I'm not going to be political about this, but I'm feeling that same energy that's kind of across the airwaves, certainly, that there's now new hope. And there's a new focus that we are indeed a nation of possibilities, as Biden kept saying.
Yeah, and it's across political persuasions. We're, seeing Democrats, Republicans, independents, all yearning for the same thing, which is, people who care about America, that are looking towards a future, one with integrity, moving away from, just saying whatever's on the top of your mind, as Donald Trump does, to win. and smothering opponents, calling people names, to cutting through that with a vision of the future. Bringing down the cost of goods, making sure homes are affordable for first-time home buyers with a $25,000 incentive, building more affordable housing. It's just quite incredible to see the energy, and I look forward to more of that over the next few days. Vice President Pence didn't show up at the Republican National Convention, and that came up pretty clearly tonight. But that's pretty sad for J.D. Vance. This Democratic convention is really about unity, not just for Democrats, but really welcoming everyone to help make America stronger and more prosperous into the future.
And more confident that we have the ability to do all of the above.
That's
that
right.
If we dig deep, that it's there. It never left us. It's just been hidden. And maybe that's a Pollyanna perspective, but nonetheless, it feels nice. It almost feels like a breath of very, very fresh air.
Yeah, my favorite moment really was when Hillary Clinton came out, and I'll probably tear up, but the love that was felt across the room for everything she did, what she endured, what our nation endured in the first Trump presidency. She's beloved. She's been a great statesman. She was gracious in her loss to Donald Trump, and she was still here, providing the same sort of hope, the same sort of vision, and it is going to be a historic election. But also mapping out how we're going to get there. We need people not only to vote, we need folks to volunteer, donate their time, talk to their neighbors, have the difficult conversations about real issues and where we can carve a path forward that meets the needs of everybody. That's not like a steamroller sort of perspective. And I'm excited about what the future holds in the convention to help educate the country, but also begin what is a listening to make sure that we are doing a good job about being welcoming. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited for Franklin too, because we are a special community, and I think we're well represented here by the vision that was outlined.
Yes, that's one of the highlights of the honor of this community is the level of diversity, and not just religious diversity, but cultural diversity. We have colors of every tone. We have over 70 houses of worship. Over 65 languages are spoken in the schools. Do you have any sort of a vision that you see that can be brought to Franklin on a local level to energize the vote?
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully folks are tuning in. And, what we saw was a really strong lineup, of real people telling their story, between, President Biden and growing up in Scranton and making it to the Oval Office, and Kamala Harris, having a multi-racial background, working as a prosecutor in contrast to Donald Trump, who is a 34-count felon. There couldn't be a clearer sort of difference in the candidates. And as it relates to Franklin, folks in town are going to need to choose what they do with their time and how they vote. And I hope that folks are willing to help out and volunteer, head over to Pennsylvania and Bucks County and start knocking doors. That's a swing state. It's right tide. I hope that we're victorious in New Jersey to elect Kamala Harris as the next president, but there's, a short drive away, work that can be done. Phone banking can be done from anywhere. There's only, I don't know how many days, Hillary Clinton said it, 70 something days left. So we're really going to need everybody's help. This is a all hands on deck moment.
That's it. And it's really important, Franklin, and the rest of the universe in this country, get out and register to vote, because every vote does count. You would be surprised some of the hairline victories that have happened. But it's your duty, it's your responsibility, it's your own self-pride to make a difference on your own particular level. Just one motion. My very first vote, I will never, ever forget it. I must have been 18. I was so excited. I lived in New York at the time. And I got into the booth and I made all my selections and I pulled the lever and it jammed.
Oh, no.
It canceled my vote. Oh, my God. I was shrieking. Somebody
that was when they were green, right? The voting booths were green then, yeah.
Well, I don't even remember what color it was. I was so upset because I felt like I let my country down. No, that was
Was
it.
did they fix it? I hope they
No,
fixed it.
they did nothing. I lost my very first vote, and I never forgot that. And unless I have been deathly ill, which fortunately I haven't been, I haven't missed the opportunity to vote. And again, I'm not saying that to be righteous. I'm saying that once you have that dignity and that responsibility taken from you, it becomes that much more precious. If we
I didn't think
not
that's how
have,
that story was going to end.
well, but that's where it ends. This is
Yeah.
Yes, I haven't missed an opportunity. I have not missed an election because I remember what it felt like to have the opportunity taken from me. And there is way too much of that. The world is telling that story right now. This country is telling that story right now. We have that privilege. We need to exercise that privilege. It's our right and it's our duty to do this.
And it's important to register, but also, you know, I'm a big fan of vote by mail. You can do that in perpetuity for every election. It comes to your house. It's safe. It's secure. There's no postage necessary. You can track your ballot, make sure it's received and counted. And if for some reason it gets lost, you can always vote in person provisionally, and it will be counted later. And there's a paper trail with paper ballots. So that's what I've been doing. Another added advantage is once you vote, people stop bothering you because they take you out of their calls and their door knocks. So it's a great way to have some peace in the last few weeks up to the election. If you already know who you're voting for, you're educated. Like I feel like I'm, really keeping on top of the election. So I definitely encourage folks to consider that.
I get it. It's certainly convenience. I know in Franklin Township in the municipal building, there were boxes that indicate you can drop your paper ballot right there. I'm a purist. I got to pull the lever to make sure this time I get it right.
Well, after that experience, you probably vote in person every time.
Oh, absolutely. Every single time. I feel so guilty that Bill isn't a part of this. Bill, can you talk?
I don't know. How do I sound?
Okay, better. Yay.
Okay, real quick before it screws up again. Ed, what was it like when Kamala Harris walked out on stage? That was a big surprise, right?
It was a huge surprise. No one knew that she was coming out. And there was sort of a rumor. I was out earlier getting a drink. This is like a hockey stadium, right? So they have all the fast food things. And I was getting some drink, and someone said, the vice president's coming out. Everyone's saying, the vice president? What do you mean the vice president? Like, she's the candidate. And sure enough, she came out. She lit up the room. It's a great way to remind us why we're here. And she did it with a smile that was not only genuine and appreciative, but it was a bi-directional sort of love that she shared. She was loving all of us and folks at home, and we were loving her for stepping up to be such a strong candidate in this historic election. And it just really turned up the dial on the energy early, and I just think there's a lot more excitement to come. I hope folks will continue to watch tomorrow. It's the Obamas and a whole bunch of other speakers. To me, this is really important for us to understand what's at stake this November and for the next 4 years.
What did you think of AOC's speech?
She was lighting up the room. People were very excited about it. I thought she was energetic. I thought she mapped out her story extremely well.
Yes.
And I think people make fun of her, but she's a regular American, putting our families ahead of special interests, and that's hard to do in politics with so much money flowing into campaign accounts. I mean, Donald Trump met with oil executives, asked for $1 billion to roll back all our environmental protections and keep us addicted to oil and gas, polluting our air, water, and land. Cancer, asthma, heart disease rates going through the roof. If you live in Newark, you're 4 times more likely to have asthma. This is what his world is about. AOC is standing up to that. She doesn't take money from political action committees. She's walking the walk. And it's nice to see that and see the respect that she's garnering. And she has a diverse portfolio of views. The Democratic Party has a diverse portfolio of views. Everyone doesn't agree on every single issue, but you can tell she cares about America. She cares about working people, and she's willing to say tough things that people don't like to hear. But that's important to move the needle forward for us to protect, for future generations, the opportunity that exists. It's not just for, folks that were born with a silver spoon like President Trump. We got all the money handed him to start his first business and lost it from his father. And everyone has that opportunity. And I think AOC is laser-like focused on making sure there's a pathway for every American to succeed. And that's hard work against the corporate interests that are just looking for profits.
I'm very excited to see another woman shining. And not only shining, but as you said, walking the talk, she's delivering. And that's an incredible lesson for other girls who are toying with the idea of maybe politicking could be part of their future. That
we need that. We need that.
Like, well, there's just a different feel when it's coming from a woman, and of course I'm a woman, I get it, and it's hard to define, and I don't need to define it. Anyway, I think every woman and every man defines it in his or her own way, but there's different perspective, and you can't help it. You just can't help it. There's different perspective.
I need to jump in. Speaking of the diversity of views, there are some rumors that I heard on different stations that I was listening to today that pro-Palestinian folks would try to disrupt what was happening on the floor. Did you hear anything of like that happening today?
There's no doubt there's like protests. I mean, I've been doing this is my 5th convention. There have been protests at every single convention. We believe in freedom. We believe in freedom of speech. It's important for people to exercise those rights. They have to do it in a way that's respectful in designated areas, that's not disruptive. And it's important to have their voice heard, to push back on policies. And I think we welcome that across the way. There were some disruptions. I think when Joe Biden was speaking, there were some shouts here or there. It really was inconsequential to what he was delivering, which was, I want to say a forward-looking vision and an explanation of his story and why he made the choice he did, the work that he has done and the work that he's doing. And he's still president. He's not dead man walking.
Exactly.
He just got 7 more months to continue to deliver positive results, job creation, lowering inflation. So, overall, there was nothing that dampened the mood or got in the way of anything. And I would say it's not atypical to the experiences that I've had previously.
Right.
I think the media might be reporting it differently, but it's pretty much par for the course.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we're attempting to do, is bring it home, bring it to our community. But from your perspective, you're right there. You're right on the scene of it, and the energy that you're feeling is palpable. And we appreciate that.
So Ed, you said this is your 5th convention?
Yeah, I added it up. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was my 4th, but yeah, it's my 5th convention. I skipped one of them because it was virtual, so it wasn't in a place. It was supposed to be.
What was your first?
In Milwaukee. My first was Denver, 2008, Obama.
Wow.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I was a volunteer then. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk about the energy. People are saying, this is the energy of the campaign. People are saying is giving off Obama vibes. So is Absolutely. This your first day of this convention? How does that compare to 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting you said that, because people asked me that when Joe Biden dropped out. They were like, do you feel the energy? And I was like, no, I just kind of feel sad. I was excited about his presidency. I was excited about a second term. I think for me, the energy has grown. And I think today felt a lot like Obama 2008. I think, if you think back to that time, the economy was on the brink. And there were some really heavy issues that we were dealing with. And we had a candidate who could communicate that clearly, how to move forward, and laid out a vision for America that was nothing like we had ever seen before. When he talked about there aren't red states and blue states, there are the United States. That's how tonight felt for me.
Exactly.
And, across the spectrum, at a Democratic convention, we're talking about Republicans. We're talking about welcoming Republicans into this election, and really stopping another disastrous Donald Trump term. And, we saw Christy Todd Whitman come out, endorse Kamala Harris. She's a tried and true Republican. She knows what's at stake. So many cabinet secretaries of Donald Trump's are not supporting him again. His former vice president's not supporting him. He is a disaster of a candidate, and he just keeps moving on to these new supporters. But his base is being eroded because he only cares about himself, and that's it's a really unusual time. I would say in 2008, the Republican candidate was John McCain, and he was a great hero from America. They had a different vision, Obama and McCain, but it wasn't the same sort of heightened sense about what's on the line. It was just making a different choice, and they laid out 2 different visions, and America chose, and we moved forward. I think this election, there's a lot more at stake, because we saw what 4 years brought with the Muslim ban and travel bans, and the list just goes on. It doesn't represent, I believe, our community in Franklin. It's not who we are as a second most diverse municipality. And the voters will have to decide, and that's what this convention's about. It's laying that out, making sure folks are aware, and having those conversations. How we can establish a Middle East peace. I mean, we need to move forward with that, and I think tonight it came up, and it's going to continue to come up, and that's important. It's important for our community, and a whole host of issues. So I'm just excited. It's only 12:15 here, so it's a little later for you guys, but I don't think I'm going to bed anytime soon. I think it's hard. PJ, you could appreciate as a singer. It's like coming off stage. I wasn't on stage. I didn't do anything, but I'm going to need to slowly come down off of the high
Exactly.
of the experience.
It is a high, even though we're not there. The energy is so palpable. The energy of inclusion, the energy of acceptance, of co-acceptance. That I think just stood out for me more than anything. Just the willingness, the inclusiveness of all. Truly, the United States of America, and it is truly what Franklin Township embodies, and that's why it felt so rich to me tonight, because it felt so familiar.
Agreed.
So
and I'll tell you, this place is full, bottom to top. There's like, I don't know if you could see, but there's levels and levels and levels. It goes way high. Every seat is full. Everybody is energized.
You can see it.
It's just very exciting.
Yeah, the cameras were panning as I think I forget who was talking. I think it was Kamala who was talking.
Yeah.
Here's a really important question, though. How's the food?
I had a cheeseburger and fries. It's not the healthiest food. I took the top of the bun off.
That's not Chicago food.
Yeah, but it was good. The food in Chicago has been great. The
Chicago food.
Chicago, hot
pizza,
dogs. I had pizza. I had
Chicago
pizza
hot dog.
yesterday. Yeah, I did stop for some pizza. It was good.
Thin crust or
everyone has a different idea of what the best Chicago pizza. It kind of felt like New York, New Jersey pizza, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't get like a thin crust square pizza. That's supposed to be like the best.
Ooh.
Everyone says the deep dish is better. So, we'll see. We had little pizza bagels. Like,
Oh my
it's
God.
fine. It's good.
Well, you
It's better. It's better than England.
Oh yeah,
Better than
you
England?
want pizza in England.
Yeah, anything is better than England when it comes to food.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
King,
but
I'm
that's
sorry.
how it is. So talk a little bit about. I'm sorry we're keeping you, but talk. I know you're jacked up. Talk a little bit about not so much what's on the floor, but what's going on when you guys are in the hotel, or are the things before the primetime stuff happens? What sort of things are going on then?
Yeah, so it starts really early with a breakfast every day at 8 o'clock. You have to get these credentials, which get you into the facility. You have to pick them up right at 8 o'clock. If you're late, then you have to wait till another time, and it kind of goes on. Then there's caucus meetings. So there's different caucuses. The LGBT caucus is one that I'm going to go to on Wednesday. There's the Asian American caucus that I plan to go to as well. The Latino caucus, et cetera. I could go through all of them. And then each one, there's all kinds of speakers that come to share a little bit about their experience and their vision, and usually some policy discussions or opportunities, but also some game planning. How are we going to win the election? What are we going to do to recruit volunteers? I was at an opening night sort of reception for the LGBT community, and a lot of that messaging was like, what can we do? Can we donate our time? How do we make phone calls? How do you get in touch with the campaign to make sure that we don't go backwards, that we can continue to make progress, to be more inclusive, have more protections, not less. And I think we're at a time now where that's really important. So that's basically what's happening. We also took a little boat cruise around the city to take a look at what Chicago had to offer. So that was a nice chance for the New Jersey delegation to get to know each other. It's really busy. You don't get very much time. I had a few work calls in between, and it goes. There's a post-gavel reception now that I'll head back to. And then it'll start again tomorrow morning with credentialing at 7:30. Breakfast ends around 9:30. Then to the convention center, caucus meetings all day, and then get on a bus to get here. Leave at 4 o'clock for the evening festivities, which start at 5 o'clock our time. 6
Who's
o'clock your
speaking
time.
Tomorrow?
It's Michelle and Barack Obama.
Wow,
The headliners.
The headliners, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
that's going to be reminiscent.
So how does this compare to League of Municipalities?
In some ways it's similar, like the sort of networking receptions, et cetera. But this has a purpose. It's purpose driven. It's not about training. Although there is some training that happens. you know, this really is about the party coming together to pick a presidential nominee, and everything is focused on that, telling the story of the issues, telling the story of the candidate, making sure that all of us as delegates have our chance to have our voice heard when we do the roll call, which I mentioned we did already virtually. So it's like a 4-day long meeting to come to consensus about something. So it has a different atmosphere, I would say, than the League of Municipalities, which is sort of haphazard. Great experiences in the you know, training sessions. I think those are quite, you can really learn a lot. And then a lot of networking receptions and sort of who's events. These receptions are different. Like ours are just for New Jersey. So we see the same delegates the whole time. We mix in the hotel. We're with Vermont and another state, you know, but we're really doing our own things. And then they have like other big, you know, 3,500 person receptions as a welcome reception.
That's
I'm looking around. I probably have to head out soon to catch the bus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, look, we'll pick you up again tomorrow.
Okay, great.
All right. And
I look forward to it.
Very excited. Just very excited that we are represented so well from Franklin Township.
Well, we actually have 3 people from Franklin. So it's me and Rich Rogers, who are district delegates. And then Dr. Rappellett, Kane University president, is here too. I don't know what capacity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
No, that's right.
Sorry.
Maybe we can talk to all of you then. If you'd rather.
Well, maybe, but
We'll
not.
see.
I think we're most interested in Ed because he's our
Franklin guy.
he's our local representative. Yes.
Well, I'm interested in you, and I'll talk to you anytime. And I really appreciate the stream.
Sure.
Hopefully, folks can pick it up for breakfast over the.
Absolutely.
When they're watching
we actually had some people watching.
Okay,
great.
like it and share it. That's the motto. You gotta share it. Hey, you
I
know,
say hi, Mom.
we really should have thought about giving you some newspapers.
Really.
So
I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. We'll set it up again and we'll do the whole thing over again.
I look forward to it.
What time are you supposed to wrap up tomorrow? Although you're an hour late.
Every day is supposed to end up around 10:15. They're about an hour behind tonight. So hopefully tomorrow the flow into the facility is a little strong, like more regular, and they got things got jammed up, and then once I think there was some protesters broke a barrier and they froze all entry.
Great.
And that just, backed things up. So that probably won't happen again.
They had 9 more barriers after that, though, from what I understand. So
so they'll fix it for tomorrow.
Yeah,
No, it's very exciting. So happy that you're there, and we
same.
look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Potosnak, thank you so much for coming on at this late hour, and we'll see you later on today.
Yes, that's right. In a few hours.
That's right, today.
Okay.
We'll get it right.
All
Thank you, guys.
We'll get it right tomorrow. Absolutely. Okay. See you later. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Wow.
Wrap up. That was interesting. He had a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
It feels like a piece of Franklin reporter who was there with him. So that was
Yeah.
kind of experience. Yeah.
I did not realize that he had been to 5 of them.
Yeah, you're right. And that he started with Obama, and that was so much the feeling that I was getting. I remember, oh my gosh, the night that he was inaugurated, I remember sitting on the floor of this very room and thinking how proud I was of that moment, that this country had come together and elected someone of a different skin color, a black man. Wow, now we have the opportunity to heal. So I'm kind of hoping that is one of the end results of this, and especially that she's a woman. And I shouldn't even say that, because I don't feel comfortable singling out gender as a qualifier, because it's the spirit of the woman, it's the experience of the woman, and this woman has got a lot of both. And she's got integrity, she's got class. And I think she's got a good shot at being the very first woman president of the United States of America.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be great. So I hope we don't have again, but
you're breaking up.
okay. Bill Bowman can't talk anymore. We're getting this kind of that
Are you? Okay.
was at a half an hour. So,
Sign us off. Sign us off.
Oh wait, he's kind of able to talk. Now. Oh great. Now we're getting double.
Okay, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be doing this again tomorrow night. And until then, stay safe, Franklin. We'll see you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
We'll be back.
Be back.